There are two people living in the same city. Same age, same industry, similar salaries. They both work hard, both pay their bills on time, both tell themselves they're being responsible with money. But 10 years from now, one of them will feel financially free. The other will still be starting over. And the difference between them has almost nothing to do with income. It has everything to do with a number, a single financial threshold that most people either cross accidentally or never reach at all. My name is Anderson, and in the next 10 minutes, I want to show you why $50,000 is not just a savings goal. It is a turning point, a line that separates two completely different financial realities. And once you understand what happens on the other side of it mathematically, psychologically, and practically, the way you think about money will never be the same. Let me start with something that might feel uncomfortable. Most people spend their entire adult lives managing money, paying bills, budgeting, occasionally saving a little, trying to keep up with expenses that seem to rise faster than their income. They are always in motion, always earning, spending, adjusting, but very rarely accumulating. And here's the thing, nobody tells you early enough. There is a difference between managing money and building wealth. Managing is reactive. The building is structural. One responds to life. The other reshapes it. The $50,000 threshold is where that structural shift begins to happen. Not because $50,000 is a life-changing amount to spend. It is not. It won't pay off a mortgage or fund a retirement on its own, but invested left to work quietly in the background while you continue living your life, it begins to behave like a second engine running beneath the surface of everything you do. And most people never feel that engine, not because they earn too little, but because they spend their savings before the engine ever gets started. Here is the math. $50,000 invested in a broad index fund averaging 9% annually does something most people don't expect. In 10 years, without you adding a single dollar, it becomes $118,000. In 20 years, still without another contribution, it becomes $280,000. In 30 years, it becomes $663,000. You did nothing. You earned it once. You saved it once. And then you left it alone. That is the power that sits on the other side of $50,000. Not the number itself, but the compounding behavior it unlocks when you stop treating savings as a reserve fund for future emergencies and start treating it as the foundation of a parallel income stream. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Most people who are actively building their savings don't stop at $50,000. They keep going. They keep contributing. And when you model what happens to someone who reaches the $50,000 threshold and then continues adding $500 a month at 9% for 20 years, the numbers become almost disorienting. They end up with $634,000. Now compare that to someone who is doing exactly the same thing, contributing $500 a month, same rate, same 20 years, but starting from zero instead of $50,000. They end up with $333,000. The person who crossed the $50,000 line first ends up with $300,000 more. Not because they earned more, not because they were smarter or luckier, but because they crossed a threshold early and the math of compounding did the rest. This is what most people never see. The starting position matters enormously, and $50,000 is the starting position that changes the trajectory. There is a psychological dimension to this that is just as important as math. Below the $50,000 mark, saving feels like sacrifice. You are giving something up. You are choosing discipline over comfort, future over present, abstraction over reality. And for most people, that trade feels painful and uncertain because the reward is invisible. But something shifts around $50,000. Suddenly, the balance on the screen is no longer abstract. It is large enough to feel real, large enough to notice that it is growing on its own, large enough that losing it would hurt. And that shift from discipline to ownership changes your relationship with the entire process. You stop saving to save. You start saving to protect and grow something that already belongs to you. The psychology of ownership is completely different from the psychology of sacrifice. And $50,000 is often where that psychological transition happens. If this is making sense to you so far, take 2 seconds to hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach people who need to hear this. Now, let me talk about why most people never cross this line, even when the math suggests they should be able to. The most common reason is what I call lifestyle absorption. Every time income increases, lifestyle expands to meet it. A raise becomes a better apartment. A bonus becomes a trip or a car upgrade. The money arrives with good intentions and leaves with almost nothing to show for it, and the savings balance stays flat or grows so slowly that the compounding effect never has time to develop. The second reason is emergency drift. People build a small savings cushion, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, and then life happens. A job change, a medical bill, a car repair. The cushion gets used, rebuilt, used again. They never escape the gravitational pull of zero. And the third reason, the quietest one, is the belief that $50,000 is simply not possible for someone at their income level. I want to push back on that belief directly. At $500 a month, invested consistently at 9% average returns, you reach $50,000 in approximately 6 years and 2 months. 6 years. Not a decade. Not a lifetime. 6 years of consistent, disciplined contribution, and you cross the line that changes everything. The question is never really whether it's possible. The question is whether you decide it's a priority before life makes the decision for you. Here is what I want you to actually do with this. First, calculate your current trajectory, not your income, your trajectory. Open your savings and investment accounts today and ask, if I keep doing exactly what I'm doing right now, when do I cross $50,000? If the answer is never, or more than 10 years from now, something needs to change not dramatically, but intentionally. Second, identify the one expense that has expanded with your income but isn't delivering proportional value. The subscription you forgot you have, the upgrade that felt important at the time. The category where lifestyle crept in quietly. Redirect even a portion of that toward your threshold goal. Third, set up an automatic transfer on the day your salary arrives. Not after bills, not after spending. First, before the money becomes available for other decisions. Automation removes the willpower requirement entirely, and willpower is a resource that runs out. Fourth, stop treating your savings account like an emergency fund. An emergency fund is separate 3 to 6 months of expenses, in cash, untouched. Your investment account is not your backup. Once you separate those two mentally, the investment balance stops feeling like something you should be cautious about spending. Fifth, and this is the one most people skip, calculate what $50,000 actually becomes at your age, not in someone else's timeline, in yours. If you're 30 years old, $50,000 at 9% becomes $663,000 by the time you're 60. That is not a savings account. That is a retirement co-founder that requires nothing more from you except patience. Let me bring this back to where we started. 2 people, same city, same income, same decade. The one who crosses $50,000 first doesn't necessarily earn more, sacrifice more, or live a smaller life. They simply understand earlier than most that there is a threshold where money stops being purely a tool for spending and becomes a force that generates more money on its own. And the distance between those two realities, between someone still managing and someone already building, is not a lifetime of discipline. It has been 6 years, $500 a month, and the decision to prioritize the threshold over the lifestyle upgrade. $50,000 is not a finish line. It is a starting line disguised as a savings goal, and most people walk past it without realizing what it could have become. Now you know what it becomes. What you do with that is entirely up to you. Thanks for listening. My name is Anderson, and see you in the next video.